Hi there. This is the start of the Song a Week series, and the first song of the summer is going to be Vittoria, mio cuore. Before anything else, I went to listen to a couple of recordings of the piece, one by Ramon Vargas and one by Cecilia Bartoli. In Vargas's recording, he slowed the verses down a lot, which is fine, but for me, I have a pre-recorded tape, so I can't really take time like that. As for Bartoli, she started faster and took smaller retards on the verse. The biggest difference between the two is that Bartoli added all of the ornamentation and had much more noticeable coloratura, which makes sense since Bartoli is a coloratura mezzo-soprano and Vargas seems to be a spinto tenor. I probably will not be adding a lot of ornamentation since my voice is pretty heavy already and the melismas are going to be challenging enough. Now we go to Ferrill's Singer's Checklist. We're going to start with the side-by-side translations. There are side-by-sides in the book, but it only has literal translations and idiomatic translations, which are helpful but not really what we want. So I went to leader.net. Leader.net is one of the best resources for singers to get translations for their music. I use it pretty much for any foreign language piece I get. When you get your side-by-sides, you want to read the text in its original language and then read the text in its translated language, like so. Vittoria mio cuore, non lagrimar più, è sciolta d'amore la vil servitù, c'allempia a tuoi danni, frastuolo di sguardi, con vezzi bugiardi, di pose l'inganni. Le frode, gli affanni, non hanno più loco, del crudo suo fuoco è spento l'ardore, da luci ridenti non esce più strale, che piaga mortale nel petto m'avanti. Nel duo nei tormenti io più non mi sfaccio, è rotto ogni laccio, spartito il timore. Victorious, my heart and soul, no crying and woe, no more to be living in bondage for love. Deception was high then, and smiles and sly glances, such troubles unwanted from lovers so charmingly cruel. All fire and all passion are gone now from torment so wrong. All fire and all passion are gone now from torment so wrong. No hurtful dark laughter and sarcastic wounding, no vengeful and hateful hard hearts sadly breaking me down. My grief and my suffering are far now from heart and mind. All chains old and rusty of bondage are broken and gone. This wasn't a direct translation, as you can see. The last two lines of the second stanza are directly translated as, "Is broken every snare, gone away the fear," instead of, "All chains old and rusty of bondage are now broken and gone." But that's why you need both the literal translation and something that makes sense in English. Word by word is good, but it can't really help you tell a story as well as a more functional translation could. Next, we go to the background about the piece. Luckily, the book provides us with some background about Carissimi. Carissimi was a singer and organist who made his career in Rome as the church musician and later a Jesuit priest. A great choral composer, he was also known for his solo cantatas, which were sung by professional singers who entertained in the homes of the wealthy. Vittoria is one of about 150 cantatas by Carissimi, most of which are much longer and more complex. The third step is to translate musical markings. There aren't really any. We have an allegro at the beginning, which directly translates to cheerful, but also denotes a fast tempo, and there are a scattering of dynamic markings ranging from mezzo piano to mezzo forte to forte, and some crescendi for the melismatic parts. But besides that, there aren't really any markings. The fourth step is rhythmic breaths and phrase marks. What I do is draw a line over what I consider a phrase, and then put a large B next to it to remind me to take a breath. Some people put commas and slashes for breath marks, but this is way more clear because a comma or a slash can mean a lift or a pause respectively, but when I see a B, I know it means take a breath and nothing else. Step 5 is to count sing. I'm just gonna do the first phrase so you know what I mean. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and... Count singing is important because often as singers we are accused of not being able to count or just a lack of musicianship. Vittoria does not have hard rhythms, but count singing becomes invaluable when we start getting to literature that has much harder rhythms. We use count singing in university singers, and I think that it has made my musicianship much better. I think if all singers utilized count singing, we would have a much better reputation as it pertains to being musicians. Step 6 is playing the melody on the piano. No matter what level of piano skill you have, and mine are not high, you should play your melody on the piano so you have a reference of what your part sounds like. Solidifying the grasp on my part before I start memorization work helps me make sure that I am memorizing it correctly. Because if you don't have time to do it right the first time, when will you have time to do it again? Another aspect of this is recognizing what the piano is doing under me. Being cognizant of what my partner is doing will allow both of us to connect better while performing. It is also helpful to play the accompaniment or at least the chords under you if you can. Step 7 is melody on a single vowel. I like this because it allows me to practice without having to worry about my words. My Italian is alright, but with French and German, more often than not, I need to take time learning the diction. Another cool thing about melody on a vowel is that it helps me figure out if I estimated the length of my phrases correctly. Step 8 is IPA. Ideally, IPA would help me figure out the correct pronunciation without having to listen to somebody say it. Unfortunately for me, my IPA skills are still pretty limited, but I'm going to be working on them over this summer. I'm lucky that this book has the IPA because most of the time I would either have to look up the IPA for the song or make my own IPA. Step 9 is to monologue. This helps get the correct inflection while singing because oftentimes if the song is in a foreign language, then it isn't immediately obvious what the inflection should be. Monologuing helps with the overall storytelling aspect of the performance. Vittoria mio core, non lagrimar più, e sciolte d'amore la vil servitù. Già l'empia tuoi danni, frastuolo di sguardi, con vezzi bugiardi di posi l'inganni. Le frode, gli affanni, non hanno più loco, del crudo suo fuoco è spento l'ardore. Da luci ridenti non esce più strale, che piaga mortale nel petto m'aventi. Nel duol nei tormenti io più non mi sfaccio, e rotto ogni laccio, spartito il timore. Step 10 is to speak sing. This puts together the words and the rhythm and helps solidify both before adding pitches. It once again helps me evaluate if my phrasing makes sense, or if the phrases are too large or too short, and what I need to do to fix it. Vittoria, 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 mio core, non lagrimar più, non lagrimar più, è sciolta d'amore la vil servitù. Step 11 is melody plus text. This is putting everything together. After this comes step 12, memorization. This will be the final product and the result of each of the aforementioned steps. Vittoria, 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 mio cuore, non lagrimar più, non lagrimar più, è sciolta d'amore, non vil servitù.
Vittoria, Vittoria, mio cuore, non lagrimar più, e sciolta d'amore non vil servitù, e sciolta d'amore la servitù. Già l'empia tuoi danni fra stuolo di sguardi, con vezzi bugiardi ti spose l'inganni, le frodi, gli affanni non hanno più loco del crudo suo fuoco è spento l'ardore. Vittoria, 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 mio cuore, non lagrimar più, non lagrimar più, e sciolta d'amore non vil servitù, e sciolta d'amore la servitù. Da luci ridenti non esce più strale, che piaga mortale nel petto m'avventi, nel duol ne tormenti io più non mi sfaccio, e rotto ogni laccio, sparito il timore. Vittoria, 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 mio cuore, non lagrimar più, non lagrimar più, e sciolta d'amore non vil servitù, e sciolta d'amore la servitù.
I think I've learned a lot this past week. I must admit that when I was still in school, I didn't really use the checklist. I'm sorry, Dr. Ferrill, but now that I'm going through the steps, it makes music much easier to learn. The challenging thing for me about Vittoria is probably the range of the song. I was originally going to do it in D major, but the recording I got from the book only had one verse, so I found a recording in C major. The D major practice was kind of difficult for me because the range was D3 to G4, and that's kind of on the higher side of my voice, and I'm still getting used to implementing the high notes that I have. But the low key that I have went from A2 to D4, which is on the lower side for me as well. The actual recording was kind of scuffed, so I need to figure out a better setup. If anyone knows how to fix the peaking issues when I sing louder, let me know. All in all, I think that this has been great practice for me, and I look forward to sharing what I learn next week. Thank you for watching, and if you have any knowledge of audio recording, hit me up, please.